Oh, welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020 as it's time for another week of Nitro and Revolution as we're continuing on in the Mayhem tournament. And we're starting with Nitro here as the Nitro start off the show by putting over the huge night we have as it's a pay-per-view quality card with Bill Goldberg versus Don Frye. Two allies taking on each other when as Brother Ray takes on the Truth. And in the main event, Eddy Guerrero taking on Sharon O'Hare. But first, we've got a huge match as Kanyon takes on Shane Helms in the second round of the Mayhem tournament. And we're going, as you know, let's get to 73 and going to the actual match itself, which gives us an 81. Okay, let's see here. 96, 86. Oh, no storyline. I can almost guarantee I forgot to touch. Yep. Well, penalized for. Wait, hold on. No, that advanced. I guess just the announcing, huh? Okay, I gotta remember to remove Tomko from Helms as an official bodyguard, even though I'm still going to continue it, just because, because they both did a good job building the match. Just announcing work of Scott Hudson, who might be losing his job soon enough, and some managerial chemistry. So that's it. I'm guessing also, it wasn't quite long enough, but anyway, back and forth match. This is Kanyon, Shane Helms. So these are two great workers just going right after each other, slow build. So, slowly going after each other. First, maybe submission holds, some, first, slow building up of each other, then gets a brawling section. Titus interferes in midpoint of the match, giving Shane Helms back the advantage. Helms drops him with a super kick to get a near fall, but Kanyon kicks out. Kanyon fights back, does some brawling of his own. Maybe he does a suicide dive on Tomko, comes back in, fights with Helms. Helms takes back advantage, via a low blow or something, locks in a long submission, but Kanyon fights out of it. Kanyon actually hits a flatliner for a near fall, and then goes for the Kanyon cutter, but Helms pushes him off. He goes for another super kick, but Kanyon ducks under, and it looks like Helms is going to fall to Kanyon here as he actually hits a flatliner again. And looks like he's setting up for the Kanyon cutter, but Tomko distracts him, just long enough for Helms to get the super kick. He goes for the Nightmare on Helm Street, but Kanyon rolls out of the way. But, Helms yells at the ref, and as Kanyon rolls out of the ring, he unfortunately rolls right into a big boot, and then a big, a powerbomb on the outside by Tomko, who then rolls Kanyon back in. Helms drops with another super kick, hits the Nightmare on Helm Street. 1, 2, 3. Shane Helms advances into the quarterfinals into the quarterfinals of the Mayhem tournament. 81, like I said, so just the bad chemistry and the announcing desk. So, but still a very good match, and Helms and Tomko celebrate to end the show. I mean, not to end the show, but to begin the show, sorry. That's 68. Good stuff. And then we basically go backstage where the Truth and Brother Ray, have a little promo, little segment here where they go full tilt, they become friends and allies here on Nitro, but they both want to be at the top of this business. So, they'll face off each other, they'll brawl to the back, and then they'll then they'll go get a drink after this match. Solid stuff. Truth says, he won't even make any raps about your half brother. And Brother Ray, Boston says, appreciate it. A thing to Devon over in WWE still. This gets a 73. Truth does well. Brother Ray does well. It's also just a short promo at only 3 minutes, so it probably has a cap on it. As we move forward on backstage, where Eddy Guerrero cuts an 89 promo here, as he takes mic and says, basically, the first time, O'Hare, that we've been on the other side of the ring one-on-one from each other. Nearly a year. Nearly a year that I've had to think about you defeating me back at Fall Brawl, all the way back then. The last time we faced, you barely got out with the WCW World Champion. But now, neither are champs Holmes, but I made a statement and reminded everybody why I came back here. And it wasn't just be another guy, or one of the top guys, but the guy. I got distracted, and I forgot about that, but I reasserted myself when I went after you and Goldberg. The Guerrero family values means not only I gotta knock you out of this tournament, I gotta win this tournament, and eventually take back my championship. 89, good promo, and setting up the big main event later tonight. And then you have an interesting segment here, as basically Ric Flair's backstage doing Ric Flair stuff, and out and overcomes Stacy Kiebler. And Stacy Kiebler sort of butters him up a little bit. Flair's a little wary because she is new manager to Ninkyo, and Stacy's like, no, you don't understand. When I've been over in Japan, I've learned the positives of older men as I've been dealing with business dealings. Flair, because again, Flair's a face, so face should be smarter than heels, but Flair is also Ric Flair, so he's very horny. So Stacy Kiebler can overcome his supposed intelligence to babyface. And, she basically says she wants to talk to him for a bit. And Flair walks away. And then we see Ninkyo walking towards the Evolution's locker room. And this gets a 67. Fun stuff. And then we have the actual match between these two. And it's a very solid match. Like, Truth and Brother Ray go back and forth. Two men both looking to be at the top of this business. But, Brother Ray does a little brawling. Goes for the win early with the, Brother Ray bomb, that full Nelson bomb. But Truth gets his foot on the ropes. Truth fights back. They actually hit a big double clothesline spot late as near a double countout. But then Truth comes over, hits his sort of like his spinning heel kick, or however you call it, like sort of like flippy-doo kick he does. Goes through the cross punches. Brother Ray gets out of it. Goes for full Nelson bomb. Truth kicks out of it, hits a jawbreaker, hits a few big moves, then hits the Truth consequences, and picks up a big victory right in the middle of the ring here on Nitro as the Truth advances to the quarterfinals. This gets an 82. The Truth gets a 76. Brother Ray gets an 80. And then, of course, what do you expect happens? Chosen Few, not happy about this, come down for the attack, but first Gigantes, and then, to the shock of the crowd, Kanyon comes down for the save as, they run off the rest of the Chosen Few and stand tall as the fans cheer as this gets a 79. Fun stuff. Just your beautiful babyface, helping each other out and moving things forward. And then we go backstage where Alex Wright is backstage and he, approaches Chavo Guerrero Jr. and he basically says, Chavo, I thought about it. You're right. I'm not, me and Tori, we need to think about our relationship as manager and business partner. But you're right about one thing. Together, we were good together. We were good together as a team and as a fighting force in that ring. I was like, so are you ready to team back up at least for a little while until Shiri gets back? Right side, hey, I got nothing better to do, so let's out there and kick some ass. Hey, babyface together, teaming up. Yay, 66, fun stuff. And then we have a fun little, basically, this is what we call a crowd filler. And also just, hey, I want to get people in the ring other than people involved in the tournament. So this was a short little 4-way cruiser match. Like, it's pure high spots. Like, I put it as a high spots match, and that's what it was. Lynn does his little bit of old man cruiserweight stuff. Romeo, who's just, comes in as Romeo and with none of his Roman Legion air guard, comes in and does some high flying. Hidaka does some kicks. Sadal does some wacky flips himself. Eventually, Matt Sadal actually gets the pinfall over Hidaka in a little over 6 minutes with the shooting star press. Pretty simple match here. 49. Sadal gets a 63. Hidaka gets a 57. Romeo gets a 51. And Jerry Lynn gets a 47. Again, just a pretty solid here to give Sadal another win and build him up as a number one contender to the Cruiserweight title. And Sadal celebrates. This gets a 39. It's only a minute segment, and he's quite not that over yet, unfortunately. And then we have what you would have thought happened, as, we see Kaz and Yang go after Evolution and just beat them down, attacking from behind. Lashley tries to fight back and does a few power moves, but Kaz nails him with a kick to the back of the head, knocking him down. Cesaro tries to brawl, but he gets knocked down too, and then they walk away, happy with the destruction they've wrought. Fun stuff, as this gets a 54, as we're building up a new feud here on Nitro. Then we have a backstage promo with your friend of mine, Sean O'Hare, which gets a 79, and he says, Eddy. Neither of us are where we want to be right now. That's why we're getting in that ring later tonight. You know what I mean? You don't want to admit that, yes, it's true, you're a fantastic wrestler and one of the best in the world. But I'm just hungry enough and talented to defeat you before. And in that ring tonight, I'm going to defeat you again. Just because you didn't have the greatest time here 5 years ago, that doesn't mean, Eddy, you're not going to face Future Shock. And I just have to take it and be happy with, and it just, just accept the fact, and just accept it when I become WCW World Champion again. 79, decent promo here as we move forward with the sort of main event storyline. Then we get a quick little Goldberg Frye video package going over their feud over the past few months, which gets a 69. Then we have the Goldberg in, which gets a 67. Then you have Goldberg Frye again. And, lack of selling. This is just the quasi, same, some sort of quasi match they had before. Just a little longer as, Frye takes advantage and locks him in a few more holds. The Goldberg powers out of him. But eventually, Goldberg is Goldberg, and he takes advantage, gets, powers out of a hold. It's sort of his, big sort of quasi suplexes. Hits another big throw. Spear. Jackhammer right in the middle of the ring. Pinfall victory for Goldberg here on Nitro as he advances into the quarterfinals, which gets a 79. Goldberg gets an 88. Frye gets a 68. Fun stuff. And Goldberg celebrates as this gets a 72. Then we go backstage where Jared Barash, who explains that Jack Evans has advanced to the second round, but due to the setup of the tournament, he'll be going over the Revolution to take on Keenan Sharpe. And Jack responds, yeah, he gets a busy tournament and he's ready to enter what's I guess enemy territory for the man from tonight. But he's actually sure the same fans that cheered him when he defeated Tor last week will be with him when he faces Keenan Sharpe over on Revolution. And Keenan, I've done a little looking into you, and you want people to walk a path. You think you're some sort of leader of men? Well, the only path I walked is wanting to become a great wrestler, dude. And man, I've been doing that every single week from when I entered the Heart Dungeon, and now that I'm here alongside Teddy, and now I'm doing it on my own. Nothing personal, but you're up next, so that means I gotta whoop your ass. And he walks away. 70, actually pretty good promo from Evans as he continues on his sort of hot streak here in Revolution in WCW. Then we have a tournament update, focusing on Monty, Siaki, and Walker all getting wins last week, which is a 41. And then we have the O'Hare Eddy promo package, which basically goes over everything that's been going on, that I've just explained throughout the show, through the promos and such, which gets to 74. Then it's time for our main event. And yeah, okay. Hey, Eddy Guerrero, good wrestler. Sean O'Hare, actually a pretty good wrestler as well. And this is sort of the match you expect. Like, this is a slow burn match where Eddy is trying to use every trick in the book to take advantage, and he does take advantage, and he hits some big moves. Like, he actually goes in quick and tries to seek through, basically go after O'Hare, hitting with a few big moves, hits the Blue Thunder Bomb early for a near fall, goes for the Three Amigos, but O'Hare powers out of it. O'Hare, does some big kicks and big throws and brawling to take advantage. O'Hare hits a big lariat for a near fall. Then he picks up Eddy into a running power slam for another near fall. Guerrero again goes heel to take advantage, goes back under, locks him into a lasso from El Paso. But O'Hare eventually makes the ropes. Eddy continues to take advantage, actually hits him up for the Blue Thunder Bomb again from the near fall, rolls through, kick, wham, brainbuster, goes up top for the frog splash. O'Hare barely rolls away. Eddy actually gets up first as O'Hare is still reeling, but Eddy charges O'Hare. O'Hare gets out of the way. Eddy goes over the top rope. O'Hare goes on the outside. They brawl for a bit, back inside. Eddy rushes O'Hare in the corner. O'Hare gets out of the way. Big suplex, big lariat, big power slam rather. Picks him up. Widowmaker, 1, 2, 3. Your winner of the match and the match of the quarterfinals is Sean O'Hare. This gets an 89. O'Hare gets a 78. Eddy gets a 94. Fun stuff, as this works for the booking we're doing here and sets everything up. And post-match, O'Hare celebrates as the Enters put over the rest of the tournament, and that these four men, Sean O'Hare, Shane Helms, Goldberg, and The Truth, all have changed at Glory at Mayhem. And overall, this gets us an 86, really good show as we move forward. This is loading up. Lots of loading. Yeah, I mean, little short Nitro since we don't have as many promos and such. But hey, sometimes you need some matches. Come on. Fun. You can probably move 15 seconds in the video. That's probably about how much longer it's going to take to load everything, but yeah. I'll also quickly go through, because what happened is I also booked British Assault off screen, since that's not really an in-canon show, it's more something for the international audience. But first, let's go over Raw. Nathan Jones is retiring. Okay, sure. Also, email Don Frye, now is in the Southeast. Sure. So Nitro, let's see. Nitro, we got a 2.79. Raw got a. They're still over in UK. Okay, so for their show, Christian defeated Mark Henry. Henry's never got the push that he got in real life, which is interesting. Let's see here. Triple H defeated Maven. Angle defeated Rico in a squash. Mahal defeated Veronica Vane again. Kane Imperial Leviathan defeats Scott Steiner and the Outcast in 86. Jericho defeats Scott Hall in 91. And Benoit and Big Show defeated Regal and DDP in a 90. So nothing too interesting there. I mean, no random 99s, which is, I mean, honestly nice. If I'm being honest, nice that they didn't do it. Okay. And it's really like this sort of quasi PWG since it never happened. Michael Morales versus Morgan. Outside Players versus Lost and Super Dragon. Bison Smith versus Frank Kazarian. Fun stuff. But yeah, just to show you guys real quick for our show history. So we had British Assault, which again is a sort of like an out of canon show in Birmingham, or that's Manchester Arena. That's what the area. So just go over stuff real quick. We had Angel Fox and Lexi James win a four-way tag match, also involving Malia Vivez and Ronnie Shona, Gil Kim and Ali Danger, and Celine Cartier and Alyssa Alexander, when James pinned Jonah, if I remember right. 70, pretty good match, 14 minutes. Then we had the team of Austin Aries, Simply Johnny Vine, Mark Jindrak, Sonny Siaki, and Keenan Sharpe defeated Chavo, Wright, Seidel, Benjamin, and Slater. So, faces teaming up. Pretty okay. Again, pretty decent match. Got a 69. Nice. Kanyon defeated Jamie Noble. It got an 81. Again, straightforward one for Kanyon. RVD and Ray teamed up to defeat Ninkyo in a 72. Mainly because, from what it looks like, Jimmy Yang was not over at all, so that probably hurt it. Plus, no storyline. Evolution revealed their partner as Sting. Instead of Flair. So Sting and Evolution defeated Tolan, Lepin, and Toro. This was a 70, just a match, Sting would be a draw here. He only got a 61 because he's old, and unlike in real life, he has not found the fountain of youth. In a very non-canon match, Goldberg did Messias, but, the crowd would love these two fight. 75 again, no storyline, no match. Sean O'Hara and AJ Styles teamed up to defeat Eddy Guerrero and Chuck Palumbo. Again, 77, perfectly, good match. And then we had Tricia Sky retaining the Women's World title over Nikita Colt in a 73. Again, no storyline. And then the Hardy Boys retained the tag team titles in an 87, going over Storm and Awesome and America's Most Wanted. And then we had all the entrances and our main event of Kidman retaining the world title over Booker, Jarrett, and London in an 80. Basically, this was people not really involved in the world title scene who I conceivably don't want to put Kidman in a match anytime soon. Since, he's totally have a much longer world title reign, right, guys? That's what you all want. But yeah, so there's that. But I'll be back in just again for Revolution. We'll have the rest of the Mayhem tournament second round. And welcome everybody to Revolution, live from the Verizon Wireless Arena in beautiful Manchester, New Hampshire, as we had a full crowd of 11,000 people here as the youngsters put over the big matches for tonight, including AJ Styles taking on Keith Walker, Chuck Palumbo with the main event against Ken Anderson, the interesting match between Monty Brown and Sonny Siaki, and the main event, not the main event, and this opener that's happening right now, Keenan Sharpe taking on from Nitro, Jack Evans. This gets a 69, nice as we open things up. And the show starts out with a, okay. Definitely, like I said, this makes sense. Like, these guys in 2005 do not have the best psychology, but it goes, a little under 14 minutes, and it's sort of like a story of two guys here. We got Keenan Sharpe, solid heel wrestler, looking to take apart Evans from the start, knocking him down, taking him down, locking submissions. Evans fights out of it, is trying to hit those big shots, those big moves as he is undersized against Sharpe, but Sharpe takes him down, big Muay ticks, big takedowns, big submissions, but Evans fights back. And it really looks like Sharpe is going to lock him in and just take him out for good. But near the end, Sharpe gets a little frustrated and pulls Evans up for a Tiger Bomb. Evans turns into a Frankensteiner and then hits a few big moves in a row and eventually hits the stunt 101 right in the middle of the ring after Sharpe got another flurry of offense in. But Evans is able to reverse it and get the big pinfall we here on Revolution and advance into the quarterfinals in the big upset. As look at the 75, Jack Evans got a 90 in-ring, Sharpe got an 83, but like it said, lack psychology, so this was a bit of spot, which wasn't bad, but a big win for Jack Evans here as the announcers go over what a huge win for here as he advances in the quarterfinals for the biggest matches of his life, as this gets a 69. Again, nice. Then we cut backstage, where Teddy Long is in office, and the triumvirate, basically, burst in, and they just begin ranting. Kelly Kimmon's like, it is absolutely disgusting that as I'm getting ready to defend the World Championship against someone who shouldn't even have a shot like Ray Jr., that you still refuse to realize the Hardys got lucky a few weeks ago to win those titles, and they have my men's properties. And Storm steps in and says, I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, a city that cares about law and order, and it is pathetic you still haven't given it a shot to win back our tag titles. And they continue running like this for a couple minutes, and Teddy's like, did you not get the message? Did somebody miss it? Like, you have the tag title shot at Mayhem. Like, you guys, you're not in the tournament. Nobody else available. You won the 6-man last week, however you did it. So, playa, you got your tag title shot. Go and win your property back, I guess. So there we go. We have our tag title match set up for Revolution. As it is for the tag titles. Against the Hardys, take it on Storm and Awesome. So let's go and put this in. There we go, Hardys, and then Storm and Awesome. Big match. And there you go. This gets an 83 as a fun little backstage segment where the heels go overboard, and the babyface GM is like, "I give you what you want. Good luck." As then we move forward to basically Sonny Siaki coming down to the ring, and he basically has the mic and says, before this match even begins, Sonny Siaki wants to talk to Monty Brown man to man. We're two great athletes, and I believe we can come to an understanding about this match. So neither you or Sonny Siaki has deal with anything they don't want to. Out comes Monty Brown, actually in somewhat of a mixed spot because, he's, a jerk and can be, dominant and goes after babyfaces, but at least he, does his talking in the ring. And Siaki then has the mic as Monty Brown sort of looking at him. He says, man to man, brother to brother here. We don't have to appease these people. Sonny Siaki and you can come to an agreement that'll help everybody out. And Monty Brown, takes the mic and says, why the hell should I do that? And Siaki says, well, Sonny Siaki has a lot of respect for you, Monty Brown, so he wouldn't want to embarrass you and do another shocking defeat just like I defeated Booker. And Monty says, look, your boy ain't around tonight. Your buddy. So you're in here alone against me. I fought Goldberg. You think I'm scared of you? And Psyche's in the nurse. He's like, no. Look, you don't want to entertain these people. Look, we can figure something. And the match is on. 67, fun little stuff here. And then the match it's a 5-minute squash. It's, Monty Brown kills him. Saki gets a little bit of offense in, but Monty just throws him around. Wham, pounce, and Monty Brown advances into the quarterfinals as this gets a 61. Fun stuff, but I realized I was going to have one heel on heel match, so I figured I had the opportunity to do that. And then after, Monty is celebrating, Booker D comes in, and as Siaki is, stumbling up, Booker drops him with a bookend, and Monty Brown just sort of looks over at him, shrugs, and then walks out of the ring. As this gets a 64, as the little feud here between these men continue. And then we go backstage, where Amy Wilbur is with Ken Anderson, and, he basically, asked her, a lot of people, are not giving you much of a chance tonight against Chuck Palumbo, guy who's really been on a roll since he's been on Revolution. And Ken Anderson's like, you know what I think of people who don't have any faith in me? Nothing at all, Amy. Because I do what I do to get it on top of this business. I kick ass, I take names, and I walk in that ring, and I do what I need because I'm Ken Anderson from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and that's what I was taught to do in this life and this business. So, Chuck Palumbo, you think you're big and bad, and because you got your sleazy old lady beside you, well, that's just too bad. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll have to be reminded that you're just another biker bitch, and so is your woman, and I'm going to kick your ass tonight right here on Revolution. So there you go. Fun little promo. 78 for Anderson as we move forward, to that match later tonight in the main event. And then we have a little backstage promo as, nothing fancy here. Sling Cartier and Alexander challenge Gail Kim and Ali Danger to a tag match next week, as sort of been building for the last little bit here. Alexander says, ever since she's come into WCW, Ali Danger has been going after her, And Sling Cartier says, "Okay, Kim, we've battled before, we'll battle again. Now we have our understudies, so let's see who's been the better teacher." 66, decent little promo as we actually rated Alexander, and we're building things up. And then we have our fun little thing here as Paul Heyman and Rob Van Dam come down to the ring to get into another mixed pop because, Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman, but Rob Van Dam still hasn't done anything directly heelish yet. And then, Heyman takes Mike and says, "Once again, here in a town that I've been here before and lived, Manchester, New Hampshire, where we've had great ECW shows." Spoiler, don't actually look into because I'm not 100% sure, but I figure it's the right area. Anyway. But I'm not here as former ECW owner Paul Heyman. I'm not here as a former manager. I'm here as an advocate for my man to show once again another example of his fantastic world-beating talent that shows him as the greatest wrestler in the world today, even if he was screwed out of a tournament spot. So let's bring out the next competitor in the Van Dam Invitational. Out comes Ken Doane. They talk. Rob Van Dam is cocky. Heyman, ask him, puts over he was only had a little over a year experience in this business. And Heyman says, "Well, good luck, kid." And then he walks away with a sort of like smirk. As it gets to 90, because Heyman and RVD are both great. Then they have a match. It's a pretty simple match here. Nothing fancy. Again, it's a little bit of a fun little high spots match as Doane gets his stuff in. But Van Dam takes over, eventually throws him around. Rolling Thunder, 5-star box flash, 1, 2, 3. And Van Dam celebrates, still mostly face pops because he hasn't done anything directly heelish yet. This gets a 58 because, it's a guy who literally nobody knows, pure jobber match almost. And then post-match, Van Dam and Heyman are celebrating when Paul London's music comes out. And, he's at the top of the ramp and he says, "Rob, look, I get it. Man, you were disappointed that the 4-way didn't go the way you wanted. And I totally get that. But there's no reason to get in contact with a worm like Heyman and bring him back into WCW. But you want to do, everybody has their friends in this business. Some of them are scumbags, some of them aren't. Some of them bounce checks, some of them don't. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk to you about the Van Dam Invitational. Because, it's great. You want, don't want to go out in some competition. Well, you're not involved in this tournament. But here's the thing. You're not doing much competition. Nothing against these kids, but that's what they are. They're kids. They're barely out of wrestling school, and you're showing yourself up as kicking some kid's ass who's barely wrestled in front of more than 200 people before in 5 or 6 minutes. And I'm sure Heyman there is blowing smoke up your ass all day long. But here's the thing, RVD. If you want some actual competition, I'm out of the tournament too. And I've got a night free at Mayhem. So let's end your Van Dam Invitational at Mayhem against me. RVD nods and Heyman's takes me and says, "Well, look, it's great that you're also out of this tournament, even though not in the same incorrect way my man Rob Van Dam was. But unfortunately," and then Van Dam actually gets him with no, look, Paul. I have teamed up with Lyndon. He's cool, man. We'll have a great match, and it'll only be more proof after I defeat him, nothing personal, man, that I should be the guy at the top of Revolution. So it looks like we've got a match set up for Revolution. It's a special part of the Van Dam Invitational. And yeah, this guy gets an 81 because it was depending on Paul London to be on the mic. So there you go. And then we basically have a little segment here as Ray Jr. is backstage with AJ Styles. And, AJ asks him, "Look, I know Trevor Surron, you need any backup?" And Ray's like, no, look, man. Like I say, you got an opportunity of a lifetime here in this tournament. You've been building up your career bit by bit in WCW. Tag champ, cruiser champs, US champs. This is your final hurdle. So don't worry about me. A&W's around, other bookers around, other guys around. You don't, appreciate the help, but you got to focus on that ring because I know you can be the future of WCW. Even if I'm the present, I'm going to kick Kidman's ass at Mayhem. AJ smiles and they agree, and there goes just a little hype up promo and babyface camaraderie. And this gets a 78. And then we move forward with a quick little segment as basically Trevor Slayer is hanging out with his buddies AMW, and they're basically drinking and commiserating on the fact, Slater's like, well, it's too bad that you guys, lost last week. And he's like, so whoever wins the tag champs, we got faith in the Hardys. They're country boys like us. They're going to kick some ass and make sure Storm and Awesome don't take those titles back. But whoever has them, we want to be up for them soon enough. And Trevor's like, you're right, boys. So 64, fun little segment here as we move forward to a little 6-man women's match as we continue on. As, we have European Disunion, our women's tag team champions, Desiree Dawkins, who of course originally came in as a tag partner for Vez and Rodriguez, then turned on them and had several big solid wins before honestly ran out of time because I had to do the tournament against the Social Scene and Natty Hart. And this is a fun little undercard tag match for the women, and it's back and forth, and it's a big shocker as eventually Annie Vidal is able to quickly roll up Desiree Dawkins and gets the pinfall win over to the sort of shock of the crowd, as European Union has taken a loss even if it's not directly, as it gets a 64, Vidal gets a 55, Nikki Radcliffe gets a 49, United Heart gets a 44, Nikita Cole gets a 73, Music gets a 57, and Desiree Dawkins gets a 49, and post-match the babyface celebrate to a 46. And then we have a little backstage segment here, which gets a 77, as basically the Hardys are backstage and they're confronted by Storm and Awesome. And basically, Awesome says, we're taking our titles back. And Matt's like, we had the belts around our waist because we defeated you. You should have challenged. You screwed up because you didn't know we were here. So, but in that ring, we're not afraid of you. We got respect for your talent and your skill and what you've done here. But we've been the best in the business everywhere we've gone. And we'll continue to be that, man. With me and my brother, I got all the faith in the world. We do. And there's a face-off and a big tag match here for Mayhem for the tag titles. And then we have our little match here, which honestly, okay, I need to make sure the spiral tap is not an actual normal finisher because he's doing it way too often. And it's AJ Styles versus Keith Walker, so it's babyface versus babyface, and it's a solid match here as AJ Styles looks freaking fantastic because he's AJ Styles in 2005. They go back and forth, like Walker tries to keep keeping down the holds. It's very Wilson is issuing them advice and telling them what to do. Walker is trying to take him down in MMA style breakdowns and hit him with elbows and strikes, but Styles is too quick for him. Walker gets a little bit of offense in and actually knocks Styles down with a big knee strike and then locks in a submission, but Styles gets to the ropes. Eventually Styles takes over, hits a few big moves, and just is able to eventually hit the Styles Clash to get the clean pinfall over Keith Walker and advance into the quarterfinals of the Mayhem tournament. This gets an 81. Fun stuff. Styles gets a 94. Keith Walker gets a 48. And then post-match, Styles celebrates, then heads out of the ring. Then out of nowhere, Jamie Noble attacks Keith Walker in revenge for making him lost in the first round tournament and locks in a submission before WC officials come down to break the hold. And Tori Wilson tries to drag him off and it gets pushed away, by Noble as he is pissed about what has been happening. And this gets a 55. Fun stuff. And then we cut backstage where we see Captivation of Lizzie Dumas, Angel Fox, and Lexi James. And they cut a quick little heel promo basically saying, we're three of the best women in this business. And here's this guy, you've been looking us over, even as Lizzie has a title shot. So just remember, the time is ticking on your women's title reign. 66, solid heel promo, puts over the, both Angel and Lexi are former women's champions. Lizzie's Lizzie, and there you go. And then we have a tournament update focusing on what happened in Nitro. You just saw that, so you need to know, but Goldberg, Helms, Truth, O'Hare all advance. This gets a 75, and it's time for our main event. Which, okay. Oof, man. I really do have the worst luck with people clicking. Jesus. Honestly, okay, so out of, behind the booking door, this was going to be a fun little, because I have Palumbo set up for what he's doing for the most of the year, but for 2006, this is going to be a fun little, building Anderson up feud, maybe in 2006, but that's out of, man, I know somebody once said in the comments I should go in and, remove some of these chemistries, and honestly, it's kind of getting to that point. Or maybe if I get good enough, I don't know. But anyway, So, sort of a disappointing match here. Still decently, because like Palumbo and Anderson, like Palumbo's so over and Anderson is really good and the feud's over enough. But like it's kind of awkward, I mean, to be fair, neither of these two guys are great workers, So I can imagine them not clicking in the match, not doing that well, and them just keeping it over via their charisma. But I mean, in the end, like this sort of goes the way you think. Anderson is the fiery babyface. Palumbo takes over. Ring gets involved, back and forth, but eventually Palumbo gets the full throttle in, 1, 2, 3, and the pinfall victory, and advances in the Mayhem tournament. This gets a 76, and then the show ends with Chuck Palumbo celebrating his advancing into the quarterfinals, which gets us a 73. And overall, this gets an 81, which not the best. I mean, that last, honestly, like not the best show here, but like that, I sort of expected that to happen mainly because, I mean, I wasn't expecting the main event to get like a 76, but I was expecting like sort of a weird middle there and no like long promo that gets like a 95 because honestly, that's what saved my show, not my matches most of the time. But it's player uno. You will eventually, well, I'll leave my views about player uno to myself. As this loads up, as we see what's pulled up. All right, so Lance, you didn't even wrestle last night. You just appeared. How is it grueling to appear in a promo? Jay Lee's a hot property. That's interesting. I mean, he didn't wrestle, okay? Like, usually, okay, I can put up with, like, he didn't wrestle. He just appeared. Anyway. So, yeah, that makes, so, again, if we go to the tournament here, that makes the quarterfinal Palumbo versus Goldberg, Truth versus AJ Styles, O'Hare versus Monty, and Shane Helms versus Jack Evans. It's actually a Nitro match, but, so we go to our pre-booking. Let's add those matches. Shane Helms, Jack Evans. Palumbo Goldberg, which, there you go. And then, of course, AJ Styles to Truth in a match that I'm sure was an actual main event on a TNA pay-per-view around this time, or maybe an Impact. And then, then of course, last but not least, two big men going at each other as Monty Brown takes on Sean O'Hare. So 4 big matches plus the RVD London first tag match plus this is also. I think I said this was happening pay-per-view, but just like I assume people would have figured this out. It's Sky versus Loomis for the Women's World Championship, so that's also booked. So solid show, plus the 4-way final, obviously. So what I'll do here is now we'll go over the tournament standings. So let me pull that up. All right, it's now time to go over the predictions so far. So just going over things, we've got Palumbo Potential at the bottom with 16, who predicted 2 out of the 8 people in the quarterfinals, and Zombie King 772 with 17 points, who also got 2 out of 8. Now, here's the thing. Neither of you guys are totally out of it. If you're 2 people who got into the second round, into the quarterfinals, get into the finals, which gives you 10 points, and then one of your people also win, that'll at least put you at 30-something, which has an outside chance if the person you picked to win also nobody else did, and nobody else does as well in the finals, which is difficult, but you're not totally out of it, especially for 3rd place. At 23 points, we got Shane O'Mac. Person's like me had a joke about Shane O'Mac and Shane Helms with 23 points. He got 4 out of 8. We got Monty Pounce, who's at 26, who's at 5 out of 8. And leading is WCW's new face with 30 points at 6 out of 8. So here's one thing I found interesting is, in sort of like the 3rd bracket, everybody either picked Eddy and Booker advancing, or they picked O'Hare and Monty celebrating, advancing. Obviously, if you picked O'Hare and Monty, you did a lot better than if you picked Eddy and Booker, unfortunately. Not like basically everybody picked Goldberg. Obviously, the other side was sort of chaotic with not a lot of people picking the Truth. Most people picking AJ. Some people picking Jarrett. One person did pick Shelton, which was interesting, but not his time yet. He just signed. So that's interesting. Then, like I said, and then for the finals, obviously nobody picked Jack Evans. But some people pick Kanyon, some people pick Helms, some people pick Sharpe, some people pick London. So I mean, here's the thing: is honestly, even though obviously if you're just about predictions, you're probably not feeling too great. But I do like that, like, either you think my booking is so chaotic that I could pick anybody, or that I've built enough people that they're like that anybody could comfortably get into the quarterfinals. But yeah, that's quarterfinals. So again, like everybody, like nobody is totally out of it. Maybe after the quarterfinal matches, that'll be a lot tougher, but we'll have to see what happens there. Anyway, though, looking at quick storylines. So storylines we got Against the Darkness at 65. We got Chosen Backgrounds at an 80. We got Cruiser Stuff at a 50. Evolution is Mystery is at 67, which I forgot to add Kazyang to, which I'll fix too. Kazyang are on their own. Kanyon and Helms are at an 81. Top Guy Stops at an 86. Advocates at an 86. Disney Nordisora at a 61. Helping Your Inner Studies at a 70. Noble Strikes Back at a 41. New Rivals at a 67. Old Rivals at a 72. Revolution Rising at a 76. Ray Jr.'s Revenge is at an 80. And Taking the Property Back for the Tag Titles as it starts off at a 70. So fun stuff for that. If we go back over to the WWE, we have some SmackDown results. Let's see here. Jericho and Benoit brawled. Triple H brawled. Ivory defeated Veronica Vane. She must have pissed somebody off backstage because she's doing all sorts of jobs. Brock Lesnar killed Matt Classic. Michael Shaniqua. See, why can't my random squashes get 91s? Kurt Angle defeated Christian in a 99. I mean, that could have been a 99 in 2005, so that's actually okay. Big Show defeated Regal, Scott Hall, and Randy Orton in a random 85. And Edge and Taker teamed up to defeat Jericho and Triple H in a cage match in a random 99. I mean, great show, but still, still funny. Then, as a little check-in, which I didn't show you guys last week because I totally forgot, but Impact has had a couple impacts here. So they had this Impact, which had Roadkill defeating Alexander Atkinson, who's a regen. They had Kali Cohen going to draw with The Miz. Then we had Militech, Shiver, and Mario Jetty defeating David Flair and Mendage's Monsters. Then we had Hulk Hogan defeating Frankie Kazarian. Sure. Then we had Rick Center Animal actually defeating the Giants in a cage, Dranstar, Singh, and Reese for the Impact Tag Championships. And then the Consortium, which I'll go into in a second here, defeated Buff Bagwell and Jason Vex. And then last week's rape, we had Nahava Warrior defeat Brent Albright. El Condor and Mike Sampson defeat Jesus Castillo Jr. and Kali Colon, which is actually an interesting tag team. I'll look in and see if they actually made them a tag team. Shiver, Militech, and Animal defeated The Miz and the Giants. The Consortium, Rick Steiner and Hulk Hogan defeated Roadkill and David Flair. Marty Jannetty defeated Jason Vex for the Impact's X title. And Bam Bigelow defeated Buff Bagwell. So they have been doing some hirings. But yeah, the interesting thing is, like, they just didn't make it official. Like, the stable of Hulk Hogan, Jerry Staggs, Bam Bigelow, Rick Steiner, and Bruce Payfake is now an official stable. Basically, the stable of, hey, it's Hulk Hogan's buddies. And they're a face. It's a cult of personality originally based around Hulk Hogan. TEW 2020, sometimes you stumble into the absolute truth. Like, even Bruce Payfake's support. Like, I did not make this. The game made this. Like, what the hell? Like, that's just hilarious. Anyway. Then if we go to our Deathhead and Boy Wildside, I always forget if I showed you guys this. Yeah, this happened after last show. So, for their big show of the month, they had Kenzo and Rayman defeated Matt Morgan, Austin Creed, and Daking Brids and Brent Rager. So a lot of our people, like, Kenzo's getting there, but everybody else is still, like, has a while to go. We had some promos. We had Matt Cross, Rick Michaels, and Alistair Otsuka defeated Tony Jones, Ryan Dragon, and Kurt Collins. A bunch of people, a regen, and Alexander Otsuka. Again, Mukai and Kenny Okani retained the tag titles over Ortiz and Daz. See, here's the thing. Is Adam Ortiz is actually a pretty good brawler and pretty good basics, but, like, nothing else. Like, he is, like, no star quality. Like, I honestly should have found him a worse picture. This guy looks too good to be actually this Adam Ortiz. But, like, everything else, he's, like, painfully mid. So he's having good matches because he's gotten over, but I don't know, like, if I can ever bring him up and do anything with him. Anyway, then we had a bunch of stuff that we don't care about because they're not involving people that signed with us. Then Wildside TV, Tony Jones and Brian Drago defeated Austin Creed and Matt Morgan. I'm sure this will lead to some fun stories on a stream by Austin Creed in about 10 years. Onyx and Ken Suzuki defeated Dagmar JC Daz. And for the weekly host show, Ken Suzuki defeated Kurt Stallings. Stallings a regen with some talent, so I signed him. And yeah. Okay. Then we go to AWQ, our women's dev fed. We had Ladies Night, which I think, no, I did not go over this. Yes, I did. Sorry. We had a weekly show. So Emi Sakura and Amazing Kong defeated Net Blanchard and Madison Eagles. We had Portia Perez, Ariel, and Carly Chambers defeated ODB and Mega Women at 57. Ariel's another one. Like, she's really talented, but I just want space on, like, in the women's roster for a moment. But she's, like, really freaking good. Like, I mean, no star quality, which is a problem. Like, in charisma, but what can you do? Mischief defeated Tracy Taylor. Madison Clare defeated Michelle McCool. And Milhouse Saka defeated Becky Bayless. Sure. Then if we go to Heartland, they had one of their big shows. Silas Young won a 4-way involving Nick Mitchell, Andre Shear, and Cheech. That Char 4-way. Hoy Estrada and Darren Corbin defeated Billy Baxton and Dustin Lee. Joel Grunge defeated Barry Bravern in a battle of the regions where the Joel Grunge region is slightly better. Yeah, that's about it of note. And then if we go to OVW, OVW had a big show, which I did not show you guys yet. So it was Chuck Taylor and John Cena teaming up again to defeat Sean Chase and Trailer Park Trash. Ace Squad defeated Disciples of Sin. Riptide defeated Sarah Stock in a cage match. Danny Cooter defeated Tommy Maluk. Steve Bradley defeated Rob Conway. And Joey Matthews defeated Danny Doreen. Then for the weekly loop, we had, let's see here, Trailer Park Trash defeated John Cena. Off defeated Chuck Taylor. Danny Peter defeated Rob Conway. And Steve Bradley defeated Trent Breaker. And for the Saturday show, basically the same thing. Yeah. And then if we look around the world, I don't think there were any other big shows that you guys missed. Let's see here. Iron, I showed you guys. Ring of Violence, Ring of Honor. Trent Acid and Nick and Quiet Storm was your main event for the Pure title. Rick Michaels and Andy Sumner wrestled. Dave Mysterio, yes, Dave Mysterio is wrestling there. Mr. Belmont's wrestling there. HC Loke. It's a very different ROH. Yeah, I think that's really about it. Yeah, no real big shows from Japan, nothing in Mexico really, so there you go. I mean, X-Law had a show with made up by Pyre, Morata, and Drago. Is it that Drago? No, that's a different Drago, okay. But yeah. Our regen's in, like, the semi-main, though, so that's interesting. Anyway, that's it. Like, you know, we're in the quarterfinals now of the Mayhem tournament. So, you know, we can sort of on the final week of the year sort of move into the booking of the rest of the show, even though we got like a solid roster show going on there during the last little bit. Build some stories for those, you know, big shows. But, you know, if you enjoyed this, go and leave a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking. Of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of other TEW 2020 content, such as this series, my Ring of Honor series, my Journey of Wrestling series, which I'll be hopefully getting back in, deal with, Basketball GM, and maybe some Paradox stuff. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.